So our last speaker is Davin, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Thanks very much, Maura. Good evening, everyone. It's a terrific pleasure to be at this stage of what's been a very exciting project for us in GLEN. I'm Director of Workplace Diversity and have been working with a wide range of stakeholders in bringing this project to fruition. It's also great to see such a wide range of colleagues here this evening. Lord Mayor, Deputy Byrne, colleagues from the business community, the trade union movement, from LGBT NGOs both in the Republic of Ireland and from Northern Ireland, and of course to LGBT employees and people who are here today. In terms of our prioritising workplace diversity, we know it's a critical priority for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people. Repeated surveys, show how significant, how important a priority it is for the community. We also know from our work, and Jim Ryan spoke eloquently from Ernst & Young, of the growing importance that diversity plays for companies. And there is a wonderful synergy in terms of addressing the equality priorities for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people, and also dovetailing with important business requirements around recruitment, retention, performance, reputation and the broader economic case that Kieran has mentioned. In terms of our supports to employers and indeed the broader stakeholders, we've been interested in focusing those supports in two ways. One is in terms of making as much good quality, good practice, freely accessible information available to employers, trade unions, LGBT employees. And this website, Equality and Diversity, fits extremely well within that strategy. It is free, it is accessible, it is straightforward. And we very much encourage you to log on as soon as you go home to excellenceanddiversity.ie, as soon as you go into work in the morning, and log on and explore our tool. I'm going to showcase the tool a little bit to you now. We get numerous requests from employers, trade unions, LGBT individuals around workplace diversity. We know there are many excellent employers who are really ahead of the curve and who indeed are supporting us in GLEN in terms of learning good practice as they are learning themselves. But equally we know there are many employers who are only beginning to understand the importance of LGBT diversity in a workplace context. And this tool caters, we hope, for all employers on that continuum or that diversity journey. So we approach the Equality Authority having looked internationally at what tools work best from an employer context. And I have to say the Equality Authority were extremely supportive, and the Equality Mainstreaming Unit in particular were extremely supportive and enthusiastic, I have to say, about our project. The Equality Authority, and I see Stefania Minarivo is here today. I'm delighted to welcome Stefania here. We're particularly interested in focusing on a sectoral approach. And we decided to focus on the finance sector and the IT sector in that regard. We were delighted to engage Anertech, a Drupal development company, one of the leading Drupal development companies in the country, to support us in the development of the tool, and they were an excellent partner in this project. We were also delighted to be able to pilot the tool with leading companies in the financial and IT sectors. And I'd like to thank Ernst & Young, Dell, IBM, Microsoft, for their involvement, and indeed Citigroup were also very supportive in supporting us piloting the group. And as you know, Ernst & Young are supporting us with the launch of the event today, which again is wonderful in terms of the relationship that Jim set out earlier. So in terms of the tool, I'm just going to show you a quick snapshot of the tool. excellenceindiversity.ie. Now, essentially, what excellence in diversity, and I have a pointer, which I'm going to use, might have it up here. Effectively, excellence in diversity is a set of questions for employers. A set of 30 questions, give or take, based around 5 key themes. And the themes are here: diversity leadership, aligned management systems, significantly around HR systems, diversity culture within a company, the experience of LGBT employees within the company, and looking at diverse business and diverse business within the LGBT community. We have effectively divided the tool. We recognise that there is a wide spectrum of companies, small and medium, large, companies with a strong HR and diversity infrastructure, others smaller companies with a much more limited infrastructure. So we've effectively divided the tool into 2 areas: a best practice set of questions, which are kind of tougher and more rigorous, but are also based on companies who have that infrastructure, and a foundations set of questions covering the same themes, but the bar is set somewhat lower in terms of the rigour which we apply in the best practice, but the key areas and the key themes are very much covered. So the absolute essence of the tool, as I mentioned, was approximately 30 questions. And here's an example of a question in the diversity leadership section. There's 4 questions in the theme, and this particular question is around the subject of ownership. And the question, very simply, does your company have an accountable team or person in place whose remit includes LGBT equality and diversity? Anybody responsible for LGBT diversity in your company? And you have a number of possibilities. Yes, we do have someone. The more company where diversity is more sophisticated, a team person has access to a budget, and indeed the person has both a budget and reports directly to the CEO or board. Or finally, no, we don't have a dedicated individual. So a company, in replying to this particular question, will identify their current practice. Okay, for those companies who want to further develop their work in this area, there's the option of setting a specific target on achieving that objective within a given time period. And essentially, it takes about 30 minutes to work through the 6 key themes. Having done so, you are given a score in terms of your responses, and you are also given a set of good practice tools, which are listed here. Good practice advice on building the business case for diversity within your company, the economic case for diversity, and in this section we have a sample sexual orientation strategy taken from An Garda Síochána, who I know are meeting this week. And here we have an example of the Garda's strategy. Again, a good practice case study for organisations. We also have the ability to set targets, as you can see, and we have the ability then to effectively download reports, both performance reports and target reports, in terms of communicating current performance to your colleagues, generating discussion around actions to take. The tool is designed in a way to allow companies return to the tool over time. So to snapshot your performance currently, identify objectives in terms of improving your diversity performance going forward, and then returning in be it 6 months, 12 months, to reassess your practice. So effectively, that's excellence in diversity. Very much look forward to companies using it, look forward to your feedback. And of course, if you need any support or would like further information in relation to the tool or in relation to LGBT workplace diversity, do contact us at any time in GLEN. The other aspect I'm going to just mention briefly in terms of our work in GLEN is a programme, our Diversity Champions programme. Excellence in Diversity, as I mentioned, is our free and accessible tool, online tool. Diversity Champions is our programme for employers who wish to tailor their diversity work. Specifically to take the good practice material that's covered in excellence and diversity and really apply that and work that through in their own company. And in effect, our Diversity Champions, which we'll be formally launching later in the year, offers companies a range of specific services and benefits. I'm not going to go into huge detail around them this evening. Suffice it to say, we'd be delighted to have further conversations with companies who are here today, and indeed we're already having a number of conversations with a number of you already in terms of becoming members of this exciting programme. So we very much look forward to continuing that discussion and that dialogue over the summer and the autumn. So by way of concluding, again, I'd just very much like to thank the Equality Authority for their support. I must say we were partnered in the programme by the Irish Bank Officials Association, and in particular Marion Gagan, who's here with us today. Marion's expertise and the IBOA's expertise in the development of the tool was extremely important, as was their ability to network and share the developing tool with their members was very significant. Our other partner in the project was IBEC, the Irish Business Employers Confederation, in particular Cara McGann. Their diversity lead was equally important in the development of the tool. So I'll conclude and wish you a very pleasant rest of the evening and hand back to Maura to wrap up. Thank you.
Okay, you'll be relieved to hear that is actually the end of the formal part. One thing I want to just add for myself is, in these challenging economic times, those of us who are lucky enough to have jobs spend a great deal of our lives in the workplace. And the quality of that environment is just hugely important. It's the quality of our overall lives. So this is the first step in what I hope is going to be a longer and deeper programme of work around this critical area. We would love to get your feedback, workplace@glen.ie. Your engagement, your feedback, your ideas, good, bad or indifferent, we really would love to hear it. We're going to finish now in a minute, and I invite you, and I really do ask you to stay, have a drink, have a snack, do some networking now. This is a great opportunity for us to start building out an LGBT diversity network. But before I do that, I would just like to thank our two special guests here, Jim Ryan, who had to leave a few minutes ago, but also especially the Lord Mayor. I'm really delighted that this was one of his first engagements and we got his support at this very early stage of your